Hi there, I'm Tyson Giesbrecht, and I'm going to be doing an investigative report video on the legalization of marijuana for Jim Kislinski's college communications class. And to start us off, I would like to explain that marijuana, often called reefer, pot, grass, or even Mary Jane, is the remains of dried up stems, seeds, and leaves from the plant Cannabis sativa. And I'm going to be talking about three things today. I'm going to be talking about the percentage of marijuana users in the United States and Canada, laws regarding marijuana use, and also pros and cons of marijuana use. So to start us off, marijuana is one of the most popular substances in Canada and America, only trailing behind alcohol and tobacco. Marijuana has been a substance that has been used for many cultures and for many centuries, but the drug didn't see much attention until the rebellious turn of the 1960s, where the drug had reached mainstream and it was immediately received by countercultures all across the United States and Canada. This would set up what would eventually become the stereotypical marijuana user, which is a still popular stereotype to this day. In a recent survey conducted by the United Nations, an estimated 160 million people around the world use the substance. Many of the users of this substance in both the United States and Canada tend to be youths. There was a decline in marijuana use in the period of the late 1990s up until the late mid 2000s, but then the drug saw a spike in adolescence. Back in 2013, roughly 7% of 8th graders, 18% of 10th graders, and 22.7% of 12th graders had reported using the drug. The use for the substance has been sensationalized, though, and now daily use has seen an increase, where 7% of today's 12th graders now report using it daily. In the USA, even though there is a history of over 70 years of criminalization over using marijuana, but it still remains a very popular drug in America. Almost half of the American population, 102 million, over 41%, have confessed to using marijuana at least once in their lifetimes. Okay. Now I'd like to move on to the laws regarding marijuana use. The laws surrounding marijuana seem to get fewer and fewer every time anyone talks about it. There's been some misconception that even just having small doses of the drug on you can not be punished by law, but this is a silly mistake, actually. It's even gotten to the point where, marijuana is absolutely illegal in all parts of Canada, and any quantity found on any person is punishable by law. So make sure you're not carrying around any green on you ever. In the U.S., however, marijuana laws have been softened significantly in the past couple of years. Over 20 states had a law that was passed back in 1996 that allowed for the use of smoking marijuana, but only for medical purposes. Whereas nowadays we see laws being passed that support full marijuana use, as we did 2 years ago in Washington and Colorado, where you can now just go onto the street and any corner store could sell pot. So some pros and cons of marijuana use. There are many myths and speculation actually behind the use of marijuana, and most of these rumors have led many uneducated people astray into using the drug. Uh, Most of these famous rumors come from speculation that marijuana is harmless. This is very not true. It has its side effects. It takes its toll on the body. Many say this perhaps to talk themselves out of thinking it will cause them harm. Maybe it talks them into doing it. But there is some cons to marijuana usage, and there's also its pros. One of the pros is that marijuana can be used for medical use. Whereas not to cure diseases, but it can help relieve the pain of disease. There's much evidence that suggests the use of marijuana can help patients suffering from such diseases as cancer and AIDS. It can also be a really good, it can be used to combat the harshness of the drugs that are used to treat cancer and AIDS as well. Part of the thing that makes marijuana so attractive to its user is the fact that it is an addictive drug, which brings us to a very important con. It is. Any marijuana user heavy can feel withdrawal symptoms after not taking doses after a long period of time. Daily users will find that they often feel tired, depressed, even in the coming days after not using the drug. Looking forward on the legalization of marijuana, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health in Canada, in Toronto, are calling for the legalization of pot due to the current system, which is failing to prevent or reduce harms of pot use. And also, Justin Trudeau of the Liberal Party, who is currently running to be our Prime Minister, is known for being a huge supporter of the decriminalization of marijuana. And just recently, he can be seen stated that he was talking about what he was wanting to do with that. And there's many misconceptions about when you say you want to legalize a drug. And he came out and said he's not talking about everyone going out and just doing the drug. They're talking about reducing the uses of tobacco and alcohol as well. That would be a pro for legalizing marijuana. They believe they'd see a substantial decrease in alcohol and tobacco. And also in the Liberal Party convention of January 2011, 77% of all the delegates voted in agreement of a future Liberal government legalizing pot. And that will bring me to the conclusion of my video. Thank you very much. Take it easy.